What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody had a good weekend, a good start to your week. It's Wednesday, hump day. Yeah, man, it's been pretty good so far. It's hot as heck. Last couple days, today, yesterday, and it's supposed to be like this pretty much the rest of the week. So that should be fun. I turned the fan off. I still got the air conditioner on, so hopefully it ain't too loud as far as background noise go. Oh man, I got some eBay. So look, I got a little warning from eBay about my seller metrics. I'll tell y'all about that in a minute. But I am happy to say that I am almost to a $9,000 90 day. I think I was around 7 something last time I talked to y'all. I'm almost at 9. I'm almost reaching my goal of 10,000. Yeah. So I'm at 89, 18, 92. If I get, we got what? We in the third quarter. Yeah. I'll for sure be there before the end of the year. So I should be there in the next month. As far as my gross for this year, I am going to beat next year for sure. I know that. As far as eBay goes, I'm not sure about how much. We'll see. I told y'all my goal for eBay was to do $100,000 in sales a year, and I didn't expect that to be this year for sure. But it should definitely happen next year. We'll see. That's the goal. We'll see how that goes. But I mean, hey man, you got to keep working. Sometimes you got to change up things. Sometimes you just got to make adjustments. It's been a lot of work. The good thing about having somebody helping me out is that I'm getting more done. She's been doing such a good job, man. I get backed up sometimes. I ain't even gonna lie, but it is what it is. It's still working out. I ain't got no complaints as far as that goes. So look, let's get right into this. So I get a message from eBay. Let me show y'all something. So you see that? Look at that. Nice. It says I'm high, huh? Now check this out. Okay, it says, "Hi Edward, you've received this notification as your item not as described rate is high or very high for the period between July 1st and June 30th. Service metrics are evaluated on the 20th of every month. We'll review your transaction volume for the previous 3 or 12 months as your open item not as described cases compared to your peers' listings. Same time." Okay. So they go on and on, right? And they said I'm high. They said that I'm high. Now, one thing I wanted to show y'all was this, because I was wondering. All right. So here's what I wanted to go through. So it says, what happens if your rating is very high? So it says, if your service metrics evaluation on the 20th shows that your items not received and items not as described rates are significantly higher than your peers, we may put measures in place to help manage buyers' expectations when ordering from you. To see what you can do to bring your rates back down, read this article. And I already know what you can do, but sometimes, it is what it is. Some limitations are applied straight away after the evaluation, while others take effect from the first of the month or from the first of the following month. If your service metrics rating improves at a future evaluation, the same time frames will apply for limitations to be removed. Now, very high item not received. I ain't worried about that because I ain't dealing with that. Very high item not as described rate. Directly after the evaluation, you may be unable to deduct an amount from the buyer's refund and if an item is returned, used, or damaged. So that's one of the consequences of having very high. Now, I'm not very high, but I am high. But they said this is one of the things that can happen is if I wanted to deduct the percentage for whatever reason, I couldn't. And then it says from the first day of the month following the evaluation, you may be charged higher final value fees. So this was the thing that I was kind of looking at, because nobody wants more fee or higher fees on an already higher fee base, right? Now, if I click on this, okay, now it says if your rate of items not as described return request is evaluated as very high, basically you will be charged an additional 5% on the final value fees. Now there's two ways you can get fees, guys. You can get, so this doesn't have anything to do with like my service metrics being below standard or anything. This won't affect that. That's a separate thing, and that's in here. They even tell you that if you get if you have both going on at the same time, you just get the one fee. Let me see if it's in this part. In the evaluation on the 20th of the month, in one or more categories, you will be charged an additional 5% on the final value fees for sales in those categories in the following calendar month. All right. Yeah, I can't remember where it was at, but having a below standard metric and having fees for that is separate from, you know, these specific metric. But let me go back. All right, this is what I want to go to. How we benchmark seller performance. On the 20th of each month, we take a look at your recent transactions to work out your service metrics and peer benchmarks. To make sure we're getting a fair picture, we'll adjust how far back we look, right? They say if you have more than 400 transactions in the last 3 months, we'll count all those. If you have fewer than 400 in the last 3, we count all your transactions from the last 12. So this is what killed me, y'all, because my transactions was actually just under 400. I want to say over the last 90 days when I checked it, it was like 360 something. So I wasn't even thinking about this. And here's the crazy part. When I looked at the spreadsheet, right? This is the spreadsheet. I got 14 item not described since last July, okay? This is July of 2023, mind you, okay? Now here's what got me is these ones right here, these 4 transactions. July, June. Now, of those, okay, let me see. Of those, all right, we over here. This one right here ended up not sending the item back and closing the case. So I don't even know why that counts. This one, they bought it, not paying attention to the damn listing. I didn't do nothing wrong. It was for a broken pump. And if I'm not mistaken, they never sent that one back. So out of these last 4, 2 of them was the buyer's fault, and they never sent it back, and the cases was closed. But yet and still, eBay is counting them against me. Now these last 2, the toothbrush, I'm not sure if that one was my fault or not, to be honest. Lady said it was dirty. I cleaned all my items. Yeah, I don't know. I really didn't argue about it. I just had them send it back. And this one, this last one, not sure what happened with this last one. $70, Philips Sonicare, Bluetooth. Oh, this is the one I think the guy switched out on me. He claimed the toothbrush was broken, and I'm 100% certain that when I got it back and I checked it, it wasn't doing what it was doing when I got it back. So I'm pretty sure they switched it out. But all right, we'll say these last 2 are legit. These 2 before that, this one was the buyer not reading the listing and got exactly what the heck I listed, and the second one was the same, but neither of them sent them back. So of course it counts. So I mean, look, in the last 12 months, I got 14 INADs, okay, which is less than 1 or a little bit over. What is that? Like 1.1 or something? Let's see. All right. So I got literally 1.17 INADs a month, which I think for the type of items I'm selling is not that bad. And especially seeing how, and I can't remember because the rest of these go back a little far, so I can't remember exactly what was the situation. But I do know in a lot of these cases, people just don't read, man. Like this one, okay? This one, I remember this one, the gummies. This person never sent back the gummies, okay? They bought the gummies, and then they didn't like that they bought it, and by the time they bought it, the expiration was kind of short. So they put in for a return. I'm like, cool, no. Just go ahead and return them. Never returned them, y'all. Never returned them. And the case closed without no refund. But yet it still counts. And there's probably a lot of, I wouldn't even doubt if most of these was like things that people open as returns for whatever reason, and then just didn't, didn't return it because they either didn't read the listing or whatever. So now, eBay's like, hey, if I get up to very high, they could charge me an extra 5% because and what'll happen is, if I get my transactions over the course of 90 days above 400 transactions, then I'll be able to get that reevaluation every 3 months, right? Which is what you really want. And the fact of the matter is, because I had dropped my store down and I was doing all that rebuilding, I just didn't have the transactions to cover those INADs. I really didn't. I'm not really, it ain't like my service sucks or nothing like that. It's just, what are you going to do, man? Most of them don't send them back. They don't read the listings, and that's how they put it in when they put it, in for the return. Really ain't got no control over that aspect of it. I ain't gonna worry about it. If they did charge me, it's whatever. What I might do is just get some stuff that I could sell cheap to kind of like be like a loss leader, just to get my transaction history up. Probably will do that. But it's kind of what you got to deal with sometimes with these people, man. It's just, I don't think it's right that when a person doesn't send back the item, that counts against your INADs. Like, how are you going to count it against me? Apparently it wasn't that bad. Apparently it wasn't that not as described if they didn't follow through. I think in order for the INADs to count, it should be, the transaction should go all the way through. The buyer ships the item back, boom, and once that refund, that's a completed transaction, right? Just putting in for it and not sending it back is not a completed transaction in my book. And I don't know where they get that from. That would be my only gripe with this whole thing. That I could point out at least, what was it, 3 of those, and maybe even 4. I wouldn't even doubt if it was more than that, but 3 for sure of those that I know was opened and it was a misunderstanding on the buyer and they never sent it back. Yeah. Hey, and the one, the buyer just flat out lied. I was just looking at this Filorga anti-wrinkle cream that I sold. Those was brand new in the box, y'all. And they tried to tell me they wasn't sealed, and I'm just like, I don't know what they thought, if I was going to give them something or whatever. I'm like, just send it back. You know what I'm saying? I said, because I already had the boxes. I opened them. I opened one because I wanted to see what was sealed, what wasn't, so on and so forth. I had done that when I had first got these, which was like early last year. So I knew, what it was supposed to be. So I'm just like, no, that's not the case. 2 of those items don't even got seals. I said they're like, it's like a gift pack type thing. You know what I'm saying? Where it's just like little testers. They sent it back, but it wasn't an item not as described. I described it exactly how it was supposed to be, and the box itself had the seal on it, not the items inside the box. Typically, that when the box outside box is sealed, typically the item inside the box is not sealed. Okay, typically, not all the time, but when it comes to health and beauty, if the box itself is sealed, usually the item inside is not. But if the item is not in the box, then typically that item has a seal. Sometimes. Could change, it could vary, but most of the time. All right, but I know for a fact that these wasn't supposed to be sealed. The box was sealed, but I got hit for that. So yeah, that's bullcrap, man, because I feel like that is a reasonable amount of INADs. And if I look at my my service metrics, okay, if I'm looking at, or not my service metrics, sorry, if I look at my seller level, and from what I can tell, it does not affect my seller level either. I'm top rated, and it says next evaluation is on August 20th. If we evaluated you today, you would still be top rated. So there's a difference between, and for those who don't know, I already know this, but there's a difference between your service metrics and then your basically your INAD rate. Now, of course, I'm not trying to get at the high level or very high, but I don't think it affects me being top rated. I don't think, because if under these metrics, the only thing I got a problem with, late shipment rate is at 0.12%. It's allowed to be 3%. It's at 0.12, and that's because of those orders that I ship, using that UPS whatever that cheaper UPS option is, Smart Post, something like that. I told y'all in a different video I don't use it no more because I got dings on both eBay and Walmart using that service. I don't know, for whatever reason, these two platforms, I'm telling y'all, if y'all using it, go ahead, save you some money, but don't be surprised if on eBay you get an item, you're going to get a defect for late, the item arriving late. And I tried to appeal it, and eBay wouldn't reverse it, even though the customer got the item. And the problem lies in UPS transferring it to USPS. That can take long sometimes, and it can get you a defect. But that's my only defect under my seller level. So that's not even bad. Everything else is good. Cases closed without seller resolution, 0. Transaction defect rate, 0. Yeah, tracking uploaded on time and validated, 100%. Yeah, transactions and sales, 1,684. There it is. And my return rate, 31 of 1,684 for a 1.84% return rate. So you mean to tell me you're going to charge me extra for a 1.84% return rate? It's crazy. That's crazy, y'all. And it ain't even that real. Like, most of those was, that's crazy. It's frustrating, but it's funny. Like, it's a funny frustrating type of thing, man. It's a funny frustrating. It's frustrating because it's stupid. I got a less than 2% return rate. You want to talk about I'm high, because I had a couple extra returns the last couple months, and a couple of them didn't even send the damn item back. That's where I'm at. Have any of y'all ever dealt with this? I'm gonna end this video because it's hot and I need to get my fan back on. But I also got some videos coming up talking about VQuo. I got some Walmart videos coming up, so make sure if you ain't subscribed to the channel that you subscribe and hit that notification bell. Let me know in the comments below, have you dealt with this? Have you ever dealt with being on a precipice of having very high INADs, and when you go look at the transactions, you just like, yo, most of this ain't even, like, people wasn't returning it. It was like misunderstandings. And if so, was you able to get eBay to take some of them off? I've tried. So far they didn't. Maybe some of y'all had luck with it, and you can give me some tips or tricks or whatever down in the comments below. But look, make sure you hit that like button, y'all, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.